How to purchase a quality ultraviolet (UV) sterilizer for aquariums and ponds. This page contains important information about how UV sterilizers should be designed and used for efficient, safe and proper use to reduce algae and pathogens in the water of aquariums and ponds. Steps 1. Choose a UV sterilizer with a low-pressure ultraviolet lamp. Low-pressure lamps are much better in aquatic UV sterilizers and clarifiers. Low-pressure lamps produce virtually all of their UV output at a wavelength of 254 nanometers, which is very close to the peak germicidal wavelength of 264 nanometers. Low-pressure lamps typically run on low input power, saving you money on the electric bill, and operate at temperatures between 100 degrees and 200 degrees Fahrenheit. They have a useful life of 8,000 to 12,000 hours, depending on the operating current of the lamp. Low-pressure lamps are also better for UV water sterilizers because they are long and therefore have more arc length. As a general rule, the longer the lamp, the greater amount of UV light the water will receive because it will be exposed to the UV source for a longer period of time. 2. Choose a UV sterilizer with a 3 or 5 inch, 76 or 12.7 centimeters, diameter body. The design of the UV sterilizer's water exposure chamber, body, is the primary design criteria that will determine the unit's UV dose rate at any given water flow rate. Select a unit with the right diameter body compared to the wattage you are considering. A unit with a larger diameter will have a greater contact time, but if the body is too large, the water furthest from the lamp could receive diminished UV intensity. If the body is too small, you could be wasting valuable UV light and, in turn, money on the electric bill, again. For example, 25-watt standard output T5 low-pressure lamp has an ideal diameter body of 3 inches, 7.6 centimeters, while an 80-watt high-output T6 low-pressure lamp has an ideal diameter body of 5 inches, 12.7 centimeters. This has been proven via scientific tests by independent companies like Bolton Photosciences Incorporated and the EPA. 3. Choose a UV sterilizer that positions the ultraviolet lamp entirely between the water inlet and outlet ports. Any portion of the UV lamp that is not located between the water ports is rendered useless by fluid dynamics. Wasted UV-C light will reduce the efficiency of the UV sterilizer and/or clarifier. And for a third time, will affect your cost efficiency as well. 4. Choose a UV sterilizer that utilizes a quartz sleeve. The quartz sleeve is needed to isolate the UV lamp from the water to avoid possible shock and damage from the lamp's electrical components getting wet. The quartz sleeve is also important because it allows the UV lamp to operate at its optimum temperature through insulation. 5. Choose a UV sterilizer with a water flow rate based on end-of-lamp life performance. The end-of-lamp life rating takes into account the lamp losing UV-C output due to age and therefore is a more realistic projection of how the unit will perform over time. This also slows the water flow rate down to ensure your aquarium or pond water is getting enough UV exposure to eliminate your harmful bacteria and algae microorganisms. 6. Choose a UV sterilizer with a remote power supply. The power supply should be positioned remotely on the cord and away from the UV sterilizer body and the aquatic application. The power supply needs to be as dry as possible to avoid damage to the unit and the chance of electric shock situations. Tips: choose a quartz sleeve over any other type of glass sleeve. Hard quartz glass allows close to 100% of the UV light through, while other glass substances will block up to 100% of the UV light, rendering the UV lamp and the water sterilizer useless. Organic matter in the water such as waterborne microorganisms, algae and bacteria, and organic waste, leaves, fish waste and calcium deposits, will absorb the UV light emitted by the lamp. Slow the water flow rate down when your aquarium or pond's current water has an abundance of organic matter, poor transmissibility. Choose an ultraviolet sterilizer with flow rates that consider this green water situation.